Welcome back to SFR for the final race of the season for season 15. My name is Indigo. Hopefully you're all doing alright today. Unfortunately I haven't got Oliver beside me and we've got a championship battle in our hands for MDJ, Bearimi and Harry Kane. But unfortunately one of those three are not here tonight, so unfortunately for her MDJ he will not win the championship. But it's down to Bearimi and Harry Kane. Harry Kane's got a massive upper hand in the championship, so all he needs to do technically is finish ahead of Bearimi and make sure he doesn't make any mistakes whatsoever, as Harry Kane has got a comfortable lead in the championship and we don't really see mistakes really from Harry Kane anymore, as he's rectified since his last season. He's really set up his game this season, Harry Kane, and he could be on course to win the championship. Just got to keep it nice and clean for the man from Norway, and his Red Bull teammate could make it a 1-2 for the team in Milton Keynes just further down the road there. So Red Bull will be happy about that one, as Bearimi's had a fantastic season too, let's not forget, and has had a race win in the past as well as Bearimi in the Imola Grand Prix. So yeah, he's really set up his game this season, has Bearimi, and we've got a few cars there coming out on the circuit for this track then, this iconic venue that's been around since 1950 or before, during the Formula 1 Championship and the non-Formula 1 Championship too, with different layouts then, and it's really been one of those venues that you really want to go to, because it's always been a fantastic track to watch a Grand Prix motor racing around here, as it's always provided some plenty of action, and already got some action between the Alfa Romeo and the Ferrari. So that was Romanovich, I think, versus Zenum there. It was the other Alfa Romeo, sorry. So looks like those two got into bother there, the two Norwegians, and it's not the first time we've seen Zenum make contact in qualifier too, but it is the last race of the season, and hopefully we can get off this game at the end of it, because there's no reason for all of us here in the lobby and the session to have this game still installed at the end of the day. So hopefully we give it on 24. I haven't even bought the F124 game just yet, which is quite surprising because I'm usually on that immediately, but due to circumstances I haven't bought it, but I will do soon. So don't you worry, I will still be around to make the commentary for you during the races for the new season. So Langfell is going to be the first one then to start at flying lap time, and talk about Langfell's season, it's been quite impressive, hasn't it? He's had a few top 6 finishes this season, Langfell. Not a podium just yet from the man from Norway, but he's really shown what he can do in the latter stages of this season then. So let's see what he can do next season if he does stick around for SFR. And here he is then, making his way towards the final 3 corners to open up a flying lap around this track then. So let's see how he does as he makes his way out the final corner. He'll be the one that'll take us for a flying lap around this 5.8 kilometre circuit as we head through the flat out right hander of turn 1, and in turn 2 we go. Flat all the way to the floor until we get to turn number 3, the first braking zone, then into third gear corner, and just be very careful on throttle as you open up the corner on the left hand side, as you want to take as much speed as you can on the exit as well without losing the back end as we head at the exit of turn 5 over the rumble strips. DRS enabled for the Wellington straight. I used to confuse between the hangout and the Wellington, but here we are going down into Brooklyn's another iconic corner too, as we see plenty of battles unfold here in the history of Formula 1 as we exit Luffield then. Very nice exit there. This looks like a decent lap time so far for Langfell, considering it's his opening lap to start with, so hopefully he can continue his run and momentum as we head through Cops. A slight lift off on the entry, but back on the throttle immediately, getting very close with track limits there on the exit as he flirts with the white lines. Here we are headed through Maggins and Beckett's then, flat out to the first 2 as you gradually get slower in the next part as well. It's a 2.7 in the sector for Langfell there as he picks up a bit of a slipstream off the Aston Martins. We make our way now towards Stowe we go, reaching speeds about 336 km an hour. That's the highest speed you'll probably see in qualifying, but in the race it's different due to the slipstream and the power of the DRS as well. Here we are coming through the final 3 corners, but it can be quite tricky, you know. You might see some people fight with the rear of the car, and a 26.3 is the time to beat then. So let's see if anybody behind could try and beat that then. So I think we've got Zenum, who's gone quickest. Wow, where's he found this pace from? Obviously I'm judging that from his previous results as well. So Zenum goes quickest with a 26.0. It's a nice lap time from the Norwegian there. He has been struggling, and Romanovich replaces him to the top of the time sheets by 3/10 as well, as Romanovich is one of the 4th highest drivers who's picked up a podium this season. Incredible fine margins as well, because he's really good at picking up podiums now and then. And Bearimi, our championship contender, will go into pole with a 25.4, so that's an extra 3/10 gained on the man in second place then. Where's his teammate Harry Kane? He's coming through Magnussen Beckett right now. As Savage then is in the Williams. He's using the Alpine, but here he is in the Williams outfit. So an Alpine is missing as Atlas Copo in the RB goes into 6th place, just half a second away from Langford. Burmeister currently in P4 as well, another reserve driver. I think my volume's a bit too loud, let me go just that. No, my volume is fine, so it must be the game audio that's quite loud then, which is the onboard cars. I can barely hear myself think, but Lord Danny Boy is in P4 as Harry Kane goes into P2 with a 25.4, so he's currently over a tenth slower than his teammate. But I think Berimi, I was talking to him before the race, before the stream started, as Norris goes into P3. He's still searching for his first podium of the season after being tantalisingly close, but yet so far. So Hazara then is in the McLaren, replacing JDM then. So we've got a few changes in the lineup here, and McLaren will desperately need Hazara to try and get the good results as well, especially with Laser as well. So Laser and Hazara, a good strong lineup there, especially for the championship, as they're currently in P6, quite a few points behind AlphaTauri as well. And AlphaTauri's had a good season with a few wins, or a few podiums and a win as well, thanks to Jargon, who picked up that fantastic result back in the Qatar Grand Prix after finishing in first, pervading the threats from Harry Kane on fresher tyres. So we're on board with Hazara, the man who returned in Miami, and we saw in the final lap of the race where it was chaos between the two, Harry Kane and Hazara, in the first sector. So 2.1, that's 6 tenths quicker than what I've seen so far. The best time, I think that was set by Langford, was it? As now we make our way through Stowe, we go another fantastic corner. We've seen plenty of wheel-to-wheel action. Now coming towards the final 3 corners we go, where we saw Sebastian Vettel and Max Verstappen make contact here as well in the past. I don't really know all the corner names, I know quite a lot of them, but here comes Hazara. It's a 25.2 and he goes to top of the time and cheese. But Berimi looks like he's going for another lap on them set of soft compound tyres. So as you can tell, both Red Bulls have fueled the car for more than one run. They like to save a set of soft compound tyres later on to use in the race just in case a late safety car does appear, but they don't want to start the soft compound tyres because it's usually not a great tyre to be on during the start of a Grand Prix with heavy fuel, and it doesn't really last that long either. So just in case a late safety car does appear, it's always good to have that extra soft compound tyre in your disposal, ready to race on as well. So we've got about 4 drivers who haven't set a lap time. This man, Laser Lord, who hasn't scored a podium since the 3rd race of the season, and it's been a long time since we've seen him back in the podium for Laser, our last season champion down there in P15. And in terms of the Drivers' Championship, he's currently in P4, so not a bad season for Laser. He's had 1 win and 3 podiums. That first win came at the first race of the season. The defending champion won the first race of the season this season, but ever since then he's been on the back foot, it must be said, as other people have picked up their pace, and hopefully Laser can end the season with a podium as well, as he desperately needs to be. So Martin in P6, I think he had a good qualifying back in Miami. He was quite far up there too. I think it was Las Vegas I'm talking about. Las Vegas, what a race that was, where we saw MDJ take the lead on the final lap against Hazara. And what a move he set up as well on that back straight, 1.8 miles straight. Here comes Jargo flicking his way through Magnussen Beckstein into 7th, down to 6th, back of the the back of the car is stepping out, and that was super scary there for Jargo, but he still finds time in that middle sector, does the RB, getting a bit of a slipstream there from the Mercedes then as he makes his way down into Stowe. But yeah, Jargon lost a bit of time as he goes out wide once again, flirting with the track limits as we go down into the final 3 corners. I think this one's called Vale, if I'm not mistaken. But here we go, the Jargon exits the final corner. He comes across the line now and he stays in P7, and he does not improve on his own lap time. But bearing in mind, he did do his lap, 3 laps on them set of soft compound tyres, so don't expect them to be grippy at all, as the peak performance of those tyres have faded away. Hence why he made a mistake as he goes off the track to allow somebody through. I think that's one of the Williams drivers going through. That's Samuel, who we usually see in the Alpine, but now he's in the Williams. Is there any Alpines out there? No, Alpine are not on the grid. So whatever. So no Alpines will be racing here tonight then. So no further points in the Constructors' Championship for Alpine, because One of the drivers is Mackett, who is not here as you can see, and the other one is in the Williams, making quite a few corrections there. It must be said, the back end of the car looking tentative as he exited Luffield. And let's see what he does then. He goes on across on the outside, does Samid, but still keeps it in with the chap notes there for MSA Samid, who makes his way through Magnus and Beck as we go for the Scotsman. I'm not quite sure if he's lagging or not. Maybe it's his internet making those few mistakes, but his middle sector is a 2.8. So not the middle sector Samid was looking for as the best middle sector I've seen so far is a 2.1 as he exits Stowe. Then let's see where the Williams driver could put himself. I think Samid's picked up a podium this season. He was back in the Brazilian Grand Prix where he had a fantastic fight, but I think it was Berimi who took it away from him on the final lap. Here comes Samid across the line now to go into P12, just behind Zenham there in the Ferrari. Looks like he's gone for another lap time, has Zenham, so just on the fringes outside the top 10 as the Mercedes of Adams there goes into P10. He's a full-time driver now, which is nice to see. He's had some decent results as well, finishing inside of that top 10. Langfeld is out there, both Alfa Romeos there looking strong once again in P5 and in P8. We've got Ramovaj on another flying lap as he makes his way out of Stowe then as we head down towards the final three corners. Can be really tricky as well, especially with the tyres. We're very hot at this stage, and here we are then, decent final exit there for Ramovaj. He crossed the line now and he goes into P3 then, so another fantastic performance there from Ramovaj in the Alfa Romeo. What could he have done if he was a full-time driver? Because I dare say he would have definitely been up there if he was a full-time, and unfortunately he couldn't make it. And Lord Danny Boy, hello mate, how you doing? Nice to see you in the chat for the final race of the season. Here's the Dutchman of Burmeister then. His fellow Dutch compatriot unfortunately is not racing tonight, but one Dutchman replaces the other. And it's a shame really, because I had a speech ready for MDJ for his send-off for the final race of the season. I had it prepared as well, but unfortunately he's not racing tonight. So whatever he's not racing tonight, wish him the very best in the future as well. Very nice guy to talk to, very funny, very friendly, and we've had a lot of laughs in the past as well, and me and MDJ and our group as well in the P-Wagon chat. Many of you don't know what that is, but I think some of you might do, but none of you are in the chat, unless you're called Ellie. But yeah, majority of drivers then are on the pit lane or on the in. That's where Hazara is going to go for a flying lap. Here he is coming towards the first sector, 200 up, so fine margins in the first sector, only a few improvements there. There's Aston Martin ahead of us, shouldn't affect him, but maybe turbulent air might disturb his car performance, but nevertheless he gets a good exit out of Luffield, coming through Woodcote, which is an easy flat out corner. Here he comes through Copstead, flicking it in at the 50 metre board, fully flat out. Pedal to the metal there for Hazard, and no signs of the back end of the car stepping out. As we make our way now towards Magnus and Beck as we go. Spoiler, I think either Hurricane or Berry will win the championship. Damn it, Lord Danny Boy, why'd you have to spoil it for? I want to know who will win it. But anyways, here comes Hazara then making his way towards Stowe. I think Hazara is running low wings. Did you see his top speed? Or did he turn off his battery? I'm not quite sure. His top speed was about 325 km an hour. That's quite slow down the straight, you know. So that's quite concerning. Maybe he's running a high downforce setup. He likes to run high downforce setups. Jagamal puts his car into P5 for the Haas. So both Haas's usually qualify inside the top 10, but in the race it kind of goes the opposite way. Not quite sure if it's due to their race pace or they struggle on tyres. Like in real life, they do struggle on tyres. Does the Haas car? Yeah, Jagamar can really show some good potential. We saw it back in Saudi Arabia too, he was quite close to the contenders. His teammate is there and thereabouts. Where is his teammate? So far, he's currently down in P15, but his best lap time is on the medium compound tyres of course, so not his true representative pace. On the board with the Norwegian of Nordus there, exiting turn 4, heading to turn 5 with the DRS wide open, then on the Wellington straight. He's super close to a podium, Nordus is, but just that too far back, and it's a few hundreds up in the first sector is the Norwegian driver. As we make our way now towards Luffield we go for CT Nordus. Every time I see that name CT, it reminds me of our Star Wars raid. I don't think me and Nordus did the same raids, but it was quite fun back in the day when we did those raids in Star Wars. As we make our way now towards Cops, as Laser goes quickest. That's a sight we haven't seen for a long time. But Laser there, what a lap time from him. It's a 25.2, and he's 100 quicker than Hazara as well. So game on towards the top end of the field. But is anybody else out there going to respond to that one? And Nordics is currently almost a tenth and a half quicker in the middle sector. This is a Haas in front of us. Not the second time in a row. Come on. Do you know what? That's really frustrating me. That's the second time. That's the second time this season. Is that Yagamal again? What's Yagamal doing in the Haas? Come on, Yagamal. Yet again, he did it in Portugal, and now he's done it here in Silverstone. I really do feel sorry for Nordic now, and that's his qualifying done. There is absolutely no way he can get in and out of the pit lane because the time is ticking down. Oh man, I really do feel sorry for Nordic there. What is the Haas just needs to pay attention. It is super frustrating now, but here we are then, on board with Burmeister. That's the McLaren of Laser, I think, going past there. Yes, he is. So he's making his way back in the pit lane. So apologies, Laser. I didn't know you were out there, mate, because he usually leaves it to the very last second, does Laser. But here he is then. The pole man is in the pit lane. He's going to sit in the garage while the rest of the competitors are about to start a last flying lap. The Ferrari Manazinum is first out there. Here he is. They're coming through turn 3. Now turn 4 we go, down second up to third, immediately short shifted to try and reduce the wheel spin there as we gradually get on the throttle. Exit turn 5, DRS enabled once again on the Brooklyn Straight. Brooklyn Straight, what am I even talking about? Next corner is Brooklyn, this is the Wellington Straight. And he's currently a few hundreds up in that first sector. Is Zenon there looking for another top 10 start. Is the Ferrari driver. His best qualifying usually around 10th, 11th or 12th. But unfortunately he's had a few retirements in the Grand Prix as well. Respect for him to keep trying now. His teammate Lord Danny Boy is currently down there in P12, but majority of drivers then are out on the circuit and preparing for the final lap of the season, then qualifying lap, as we make our way now towards Magnus and Beck as we go. 20 seconds left to go in qualifying, and we've got a few drivers in the pit lane, which is Jagemal, Nordus, Adams and Laser. Didn't quite see what Zeno did in the middle sector there, but let's see what he does. They make our way now towards Stowe we go. Our main contenders. Oh, Zeno spun and he's going to hit the wall, is he? No, he stays out. That's a massive snap oversteer for Zeno there. Yellow flags will be in that section there, but unlike in real life, you don't have to slow down in the game when yellow flags comes out. So that's the benefit that some drivers have, because if that was the case, Burmeister will have to slow down. And here we are, they're making our way towards Vale for Burmeister. He's currently down in 10th place there. What can the Dutchman do? Replacing MDJ as he crosses the line now. What's he going to be for Burmeister? That's a good P6 there as the second Williams, of Sammy, is about to make his way towards the line. Barry's retired. Has he crashed? And here comes Sammy then to make his way towards the line. He can't improve. He's invalidated his lap time too. The Ferrari goes into P9. That's Lord Danny Boy. Great qualifying from him. We've got Mercedes making his way towards the line now. That's Martin who goes into P7. But where is Harry Kane? There he is then. He's a few hundreds up in the middle sector. Aston Martin across the line now. And here comes the RB in 11th place there. The Haas goes up into P6. What a great qualifying from smoking P6. The Alfa Romeo Langfeld goes into P7. Next across the line is the RB. And I think that is Jargon. Where is Hazara? Hazara's on a lap time somewhere. He's just farther behind Harry Kane. But here he is. Harry Kane makes his way towards the line now. It is not pole for Harry Kane. It's P3 only. But here comes Hazara. 3 tenths up in the middle sector. As he crosses the line now, it's pole. Did I see a 24? If that was a 24, that was a stonker of a lap time. What a lap time that was from Hazara. Look at the dash. 0.1 fuel. And that was a 24 as well. So what a lap time there. Obliterating the field there with a 24.8. I don't know how this man does it, because of special powers as the Norwegian driver. But Laser, it's a McLaren 1-2. This is the Laser we wanted to see. Where have you been, mate? Nice to see you back up there. And Harry Kane and is up into P3, but Jargon sneaked up into P4 at the very late stages of qualifying. Ramavaj in P5 ahead of Berimi, smoking P7 ahead of Langfeld. Burmeister 9th ahead of Martin there. Yago on 11th ahead of Nordus. Oh, Nordus, I really do feel sorry for him in P12. But guess who he starts behind? Yagamal. Lord Danny Boy 13th, Aidens 14th, Salmon 16th, Sonny Hill 17th, and Atlas Copo in the RB is in 18th. I really do feel sorry for Nordus there. For the second time this season with the same driver has been caught up in an incident. I think Yagimal just needs to be a bit more aware of what's going on around him, because he's not the only one on the track. He did it in Saudi Arabia, although he did run out of fuel and tried to get out of the way. Portimao, he was right there again in the middle of the road, and here in Silverstone was right there again in the middle of the road. It's always a Haas, isn't it, that's causing incidents. I'm only joking, by the way, Yagimal, but anyways, as you can see, like in real life sometimes, it is raining, and for those who live in the UK, be prepared for a lot of rain, unfortunately, for this summer, which is quite annoying because I've been ready for the hot weather, but as you know, the rain is inbound on towards us, so it is really frustrating though, because I want the hot weather here in the UK. The best weather we had was back in 2022 when we had a heat wave, and I really do miss that year too, 2022. 2023 was an absolute terrible summer because it was always raining, July, June and August. So the weather in the UK is going backwards, unfortunately. And here we are then, with a wet sunny with a wet British GP. When was the last time we had a wet race at the Silverstone Grand Prix? I think it was 20... It hasn't really rained a lot around here in Silverstone every time the British GP has been on. Quick maths for this, is it 2015? It wasn't a full wet race, was it 2016? I'm not quite sure. We've had wet qualifying sessions back in 2023, but in terms of wet races around here, we've not had a lot recently. I think remember 2023 qualified at Silverstone where it was drying up very quickly towards the end of Q1, and Sergio Perez got himself knocked out because I think he was one of those drivers that went first, and when they try tracks, you don't want to go first if you can help it, of course. You want to be last over the line to get the best track conditions as you can. So everybody on the intermediate tyres then, as you predict, or as you expect. Shout out to Smokey with P7 for a good qualifying. Jargo's back up there in P4. He's had a few difficult races, has Jargo himself. But yeah, special word to MDJ. Congratulations on second or third in the championship, because maybe we can still get him. But whatever happens, MDJ, thank you so much for putting on a great championship fight this season. You've been amazing. I know you had your up and downs with that, but in a championship, you're always going to have your up and downs. You can't be on your A game every single race. Same with Harry Kane too. He's had his up and downs. But I was going to say, may the best come out on top for the championship fight. I know Birmingham's quite far behind, but I like to remain optimistic, especially in these conditions. And MDJ, thank you so much for providing such great races in the past season you've been here in SFR. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. You're a very nice person to talk to on and off track, and creating some good memories with you too. So whatever you do in your life, good luck. I know you want to be a mechanic in real life as well, and you're quite talented at that. So hopefully things go well for you, and we'll miss you at the F1 game. This is your last race was your final race of the season, and you took the victory in Vegas too. So you ended off the final race of the season for yourself on a high in Vegas. Obviously me and MDJ were supposed to go for a drink in the Netherlands quite a long time ago, and hopefully it will still happen. 3 wins, 12 podiums for MDJ. His final win came at the Las Vegas Grand Prix, and now he can finally relax. Here we are then for the British GP. I don't know who I'm on board with here, but here we go then. Away for the British GP we go, not the Cameron I wanted, but let's see what happens then. Laser gets a good start, he stays in second place, but here comes Harry Kane around the outside of Jargo, and then as we go into turn 1, there's a spinner in the background, not quite sure who that was, there's a Haas off the track there. What is wrong with these camera angles? I can't really see anything, but here is Laser and Harry Kane going wheel to wheel, into turn 4 we go, and Harry Kane there goes around the outside, into turn 4, that's a fantastic move, he goes from P4 to P2 there, as he almost lost the place to Jargo, and now he gains one on Laser immediately, but Laser's looking for his first podium since the third race of the season, the Ferrari out of shape in the background there. As they make our way now into Brooklyn as we go, I can see somebody land up and move up the inside. Who is it? That's side by side with Jagemal and Martin. We go. Martin's lost a few places there. He's down into 12th place, and now he's got his teammate all over the back of him too. But he's not close enough to make a move there. As you can see, the Williams and Samid there trying to get involved too. Martin's got a decent run on the back of the Haas driver. But it looks like a decent first start there for Hazard as he needed there. Multi-car battle going on in the midfield here. And Samed's very slow at the corner, which is allowing Adams all over the back of him. But Jargon then is starting to put big pressure on Laser ahead of him. The gap between Hazara and Hurricane is 1.3 seconds already. So the battle for P2 then will be looking very interesting, because it looks like Hazara is pulling away. You can see that the top end speed in qualifying was about 325 kilometers an hour, which is quite slow. But I think Hazara anticipated the rain in the race, and his wings will be definitely working now. Laser's dropped off the back of Hurricane, and it's 1.1 seconds there, so Draugr will be all over the back of him with Berimi too. Hazara sets the fast lap to Grand Prix. No DRS will be enabled in this race until the rain starts, of course, but it looks like Hurricane then has pulled away from Laser Lord, and now Laser Lord has got to watch out for Draugr right behind him. Draugr became a recent race winner back in Qatar as well. As we head through the complex of turn 3, 4, 5, there's a Ferrari who has spun, and Ramafaj has overtaken Berimi. What is wrong with these camera angles? These are terrible camera angles. Never experienced anything like it. But anyways, Ramafaj is ahead of Berimi as they were squabbling out of the corner, and they've lost a bit of time towards Draugr and Laser too. But let's see if they can get themselves back in contention. There's a huge train of cars right behind the Alfa Romeo driver too, as Draugr continuously putting pressure on Laser, who can't keep up with his former teammate of Hurricane and his current teammate of Hazara. As you can see, Hurricane is in the McLaren sandwich, but he's safe from one driver, trying to catch up to the other driver. Has got the pace, Hurricane, as both Ferraris are down in P17 and P18, so they've had a terrible start as the two Ferrari drivers. I think they're currently last in the championship of the two Ferraris then. As you can see, Draugr right to the back of Laser Lord, as we make our way now towards Maggis and Beckett we go. But obviously no DRS enabled there, so you got to make the move by yourself. Good evening, CG Bay. Hopefully you're doing okay. Oh, Draugr almost lost at the exit of Stowe, and that's going to be very crucial too. Might lose a little bit of time. As you can see, locks up going into Vale, but that's quite normal locking up around here in the wet conditions. Norris has gained 2 places. He's trying to fight Langthal, but there's no way past the Norwegian driver so far, so we've got to wait up for an opportunity. As you can see, Martin's under big pressure from Samit right behind too in that Williams. But Hurricane is starting to gain a bit of time on Hazara as well. He's taking some advantage out of Hazara's lead, but the gap is fluctuating between the two, because it was 1.1, now it's 1.34, so the gap keeps on changing from second to second. But can Hurricane win the title and win the race at the same time? As you can see on board with Nordis's car, on the helmet there he has the Samsung Galaxy helmet, as in the background there's Mercedes about to make a move on their Haas as we go down into Brooklyn as we go. That's Jagermal versus Martin as the Haas tries to stick around the outside, now converges into the inside line we go, and let's see who wins out of this duo here. Looks like Jagermal, so great defending from Jagermal, who carried the speed around the outside and had the racing line for the next corner and stayed ahead of that Mercedes then. So great stuff indeed between Jagermal and Martin in the wet conditions. But are we going to see a dry race later on in this race, or is it going to be a full wet race? I do like a change of conditions. I don't like it being the same thing the whole time. I like it from being wet to dry or dry to wet. But usually if it's a full wet race, it can be a bit boring as well, because there's no DRS, it's hard to pass as well. As a Hurricane trying to keep Hazara for company, trying to find out where he's quicker around the circuit. But we all know Hazara is in a top esports team as well, so he has all the information, all the delta he needs to know where he's slow and where he needs to improve. As you can see, Hazara sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, trailed by Hurricane just behind him by 1.5 seconds. And Laser is still under pressure from Draugr, and Laser's doing a great job keeping the AlphaTauri and the Sauber right behind him as well. He's got a huge train right behind him. Has the Laser Lord looking for his first podium since the 3rd race of the season. But however, he's been very consistent. He's currently P4 in the championship as Laser, with 1 win and 3 podiums. The first win came from the Spanish Grand Prix. It looked like Laser was continuing his form from last season, but it belonged to Hurricane and MDJ after that, as those two were going at it hammer and tong in the championship. It looked like Hurricane in the championship was at a disadvantage when he missed the USA Grand Prix. I think it was the Japanese Grand Prix he missed, and he lost a lot of points towards MDJ. But at the same time, MDJ missed a race as well throughout the season, and he's missed a race as well here. So It looks like Harry Kane then will be the champion at the end of this race because Berimi is stuck down there in P6. And Harry Kane is not able to get any closer than he can. The gap is about 1.7 now between the two. He'll be hoping for a safety car or for the race to end because it looks like he just can't get himself in that DRS contention or in the slipstream as it was. But however, the battle for P3 is looking very interesting. The DRS train is followed by Laser in P3, keeping Dragon at bay, keeping Ramovaj at bay too, with the Red Bull of Berimi right behind. As we head onto lap 5 out on 26 there, looks like Harry Kane then brought the gap down to 1.4 seconds. Where exactly is Harry Kane stronger? He looks quite strong in the wet conditions. Does Harry Kane, proven to be at the Chinese Grand Prix? He's really good at managing his tyres. As we saw on the final lap of the Grand Prix, he almost picked a puncher. As Adams and Samit there swap places on the straight, which is quite interesting. It must be before turn number 1 because it was quite early on in the graphic there. But the battle for P3 continues then. Where can Jargo pass? Where is he quicker? Can he outbrake him? Going down into one of the heavy braking zones. When is the best place to strike for Jargo? They're keeping Laser under pressure as much as he can, trying to force him to a mistake. But however, he's got the Alfa Romeo right behind him of Ramovaj to deal with too. And in the next game, we're going to be calling these two teams different names. We're going to call the Alfa Tauri the RB and the Alfa Romeo Sauber. The Alfa Romeo brand has gone now. They're sponsored by Stake and they're still officially Sauber, which is quite good news. We all know Sauber is the Audi in 2026 with Nico Hulkenberg. As one of the, look at that, has Laser made a mistake? And Jargon all of a sudden found a lot of speed going into Magazabekis there. Where did he find that speed? Unless he outbroke himself, of course. But now he's got Ramovaj all over the back of him, and now Ramovaj is the one making a move, going wheel to wheel. Into Stowe we go, and let's see which one of these two gets in front of who. You can see that Jargo is trying to stick around the outside, but I think Ramovaj has the race in line, and he goes up into P4. So that was a great move there from Ramovaj. Did Jargo have too much speed in the corners and therefore go out wide? And it allowed Ramovaj all over the back of him. But look at Lazy, he's really struggling. Here comes Ramovaj. And Jargo's been overtaken. I think he made a mistake. Yeah, Jargo's made a mistake. He's in the ball of the final corner. Is the Alfa Tauri driver. That's a big mistake there for Jargo. It's allowed Berimi through too. And he falls all the way down into 13th place. But however, Ramovaj is up into P3 now. But unfortunately for him, Harry Kane is too far ahead. 5.5 seconds is the deficit between himself and Harry Kane. And Laser looks like he's really struggling in these intermediate conditions. And Berimi now is alongside him and overtakes him up to P4 he goes. So Laser had great qualifying pace, but unfortunately here in the race he's really struggling. As we make our way now at the exit of Luffield we go. Jagermal is over the back of Langford. So let's keep an eye on what happens between those two. Here we are on board with the Haasman. He qualified in 11th place, De Jagermal, and now going to put Langford under pressure in the Alfa Romeo. More changes in the midfield there. Few people swapping places. There's Aston Martin without an end plate. That is notice, unfortunately. So his left end plate is gone. Not quite sure he made contact, but however his race has pretty much been ruined then, like his qualifying, and he won't be very happy indeed. But you can see Burmeister shaping up Smoke there. Smoke had a really good qualifying. He's still in P6. Is the Haasman. And there's the position changes then. So Smoke has made up one place due to the expense of Dragon, who's lost a lot of places now. Sonic Hawk overtakes his teammate. Sammy gets a cruising catapulty for multiple warnings as we go on to lap 7 out of 26 then. So it looks like Harry Kane is not able to catch Hazara has basically checked out in front, but Harry Kane trying to keep him honest at the front there. However, Berimi is now shaping up a move on Ramovaj. So, oh look at that, Berimi's made a big mistake there. The back end of the car just drifting going into turn 4, and he'll lose a little bit of time towards Ramovaj. The car twitching once again, coming out of turn 5. As we make our way now towards Brooklands and Luffield we go. Not much going on in this race, I would have thought, with the big DRS trains we usually have in this Grand Prix. People swapping places, but it's quite a field spread around this circuit in these wet conditions then. So the top, we don't really not seen the top 3 fight, although Berimi is trying to apply pressure on the Alfa Romeo ahead of us. We know that Romavaj is a podium contender, and also Berimi is a podium contender too. These two quite a lot of podiums to their names this season. I think both of them are a race winner too, or Berimi and Romavaj, because Romavaj did win a race at the Hungarian Grand Prix, and the Ferrari has spun unfortunately, and Norris is about to make his way past the Ferrari. Berimi won his first race at the Brazilian Grand Prix, and Romavaj won his first race at the Hungarian Grand Prix too. Romavaj has one podium less in comparison to Berimi then, so can they be equal on podiums? However, an RB has made a mistake. That's Atlas Coppa who's gone for a split at the exit of Stowe, and he continues to pit away around as the Ferrari Lord Dalipoy will be overtaking him too. I'm going to sit back and relax and enjoy this race because there's not much action going on throughout the whole field. So just trying to pick the main battles. However, looks like Berimi has lost a bit of time towards Romavaj too. So he's lost a bit of time. Laser might be coming back on the Red Bull, but there's no sign of the rain stopping at any time in this race. So it looks like it could be a full wet race. Hopefully I'm mistaken there, but Ferrari has made a mistake in the pit lane. That's Zenum there on his way to the pit lane. And we can see Jagermal still attacking Langfeld, but he's not able to make a move. But Langfeld pulls to the right hand side, trying to break the slipstream between himself and the Haas. And however, both Mercedes are right behind this battle as well. Going into Cops we go. You can see Jagermal very close, but Zenum's on the soft compound tyre, which is quite interesting. As we make our way now towards Maggins and Beck as we go into Chapel, which is the slow speed corners. I usually forget that Chapel is around here. As we make our way on the Hanger Straight right now, Langfeld applying some battery to try and stay ahead of the Haas. Is the Haas going to make a move on the inside? Will he be a bit impatient, being stuck behind the Alfa Romeo driver? As Langfeld there makes a slight mistake at the exit, but nothing too significant, as he keeps the Haas at bay. But the Ferrari, who came out on the soft compound tyres, has gone for a spin at turn 2. Zenum there tried to do something different, but it is still wet on the circuit. So Berimi is trying to creep back inside. Oh, there's a move going up the inside. That's Burmeister on the Haas. Finally he overtakes him, but does he? Yes, he does. He puts himself up into P6 as Burmeister. So that's a lovely move up the inside into turn 3. You don't really see this. You don't really see moves going up into turn 3 on the same tyre age. But that was a really lovely move there from the Williams driver. Now, can he put pressure on Laser in front of him? Burmeister hasn't been this high for quite a long time, has the Williams driver. I remember him having a good race back in Spain at the first race of the season. But other than that, he's been creeping in and out of that top 5. He was quite close back in the USA Grand Prix as the Ferrari gets out of the way there as he's a ghost. Has he hit the wall? I think he hit the wall as well going into the old pit straight. But you can see that Martin is right behind Jagermal too. So Langfeld is under massive pressure from the guys behind. Martin and Adams there looking patiently in the background to overtake these two if they can. But Jagermal can't find a way past the Alfa Romeo driver, it seems. So where is his best opportunity to overtake? He's currently got a 3-second time penalty already in this Grand Prix, hires Jagermal. And he might pick up another penalty as well after the race due to that contact with Nordis. As we head on to lap 10 out of 26, Hazara still leads the Grand Prix ahead of Harry Kane. Romavaj is in P3 ahead of Berimi. Laser's dropped some pace away from Berimi now as he's down into 5th place, and Burmeister might put some pressure on the McLaren driver ahead of us. So it looks like Laser will be able to break that podium curse. And hay fever's kicked in, so sorry if you hear that noise in the background because the hay fever season has kicked in as well. As all of you know, hay fever around the UK is quite high, and it's really bad as well. So I've got really bad hay fever, so apologies if you hear me making some weird noises in the background. I can't mute this mic because it's an actual microphone, not a headset. And here we are, they're going into Brooklyn as we go, but Martin is just too far back to make a move. Looks like both Mercedes got some decent pace in these wet weather track, but just can't find a way to make a pass it seems, as Harry Kane then breaks the gap under 2 seconds, but Hazara has got it absolutely controlled at the front. And as you can see, both oh, look at that, Jagimal carrying a lot of speed going into Copse there, as one of the Mercedes goes off the track. I don't think the Haas has the straight line speed, does he? Because Langfeld does pull a few car lengths ahead of him. Gets those extra meters on the straight as Langfeld, which is very important for him to stay ahead. But you can see Jagimal in the slipstream now, trying to use the battery. Is the move on into Stowe? No, he's too far behind to do so, which is going to be even more frustrating there for the Haas man. As you can see, Martin, the man who went off into Copse, has his teammate all over the back of him for good company too. I think I'm starting to develop a cold as well, as I can feel myself getting those symptoms. But here we go then. Jagimal once again all over the back of Martin. Can he carry the speed through turn 1 and turn 2 to lunge it up the inside into 3? Here we go. Yes, he does. And he goes up the inside into turn 3 we go. You can see that Jagimal has the inside line, but Langfeld sticks it on the outside to converge it into the inside line for let's call it turn 4. You can see there a bit of contact between the Alfa and the Haas, as the Haas was losing the back end of the car. And now he's got Martin all over the back of him too, so that's great defending there for Langfeld. But now Jagimal is wrong-footed, and the Mercedes is all over the back of him with the Alfa Tauri Dragon trying to fight back too. And once again, the Haas man finds himself still in P9, not able to make his way through. You can see the back of the car stepping away. This is a 5-way fight for 8th place, with Langfeld currently holding this train. Look at that, Martin's got a good run at the exit of Woodcote and Luffield. He might go side by side, which is a very risky move, especially in the rain. But Martin there is not able to make his way through on Jagimal, so has to stay behind him. But Langfeld there really frustrating some drivers, and the Mercedes of Adams has gone out wide. Will that allow driver to go up the inside, I wonder, going into Chapel, or be even close on the Wellington Straight, or the Hanger Straight. But Jagimal, what's happened to Langfeld? Langfeld's got off the circuit. He's made a mistake out of Chapel, and he's dropped down into 12th place there, so his mighty defence has came to an end. And the guys behind him are finally freed and relieved of that too. And now Samed there has gone into the pit lane then to go onto a brand new set of the Inters. I think the time to go on the Inters is now. You can't do a full race distance on the set of intermediate tyres because the Inters will not make it to the end. So you've got to make a pit stop, as Rogue Smithy did join the party and now is left in a hurry. So the gap between first and second continuously extends between Hazara and Harry Kane. We're not going to see a fight for the lead, unfortunately, in this Grand Prix. Hazara, the man you're watching now, has currently got this in the bag. Harry Kane gets closer and closer, but unfortunately the gap keeps extending at the same time, as Hazara does find those extra tenths somewhere around this circuit. Driving a fantastic race, it must be said, for the Norwegian driver. And Romavaj Small in P3. Still got Berimi right behind him in the rear wing. He looks comfortable in P3, but still got to watch out for that Red Bull. And however, the battle for P5 looks very interesting now between Laser and Burmeister. Burmeister, ever since he overtook Smoke, he's been gaining a lot of time on the McLaren driver ahead of him. And now the McLaren driver faces a challenge in this Grand Prix. So he's gone from second this race, maybe down to 6th now for Laser. Burmeister's pace is looking very mighty indeed. It's quite a fuel spread, isn't it? There's not much to talk about in this Grand Prix. It's like Monaco. Although it's a completely different circuit, which it does allow overtaking around this track, obviously, but it's quite a quiet race. Not the usual chaos we see with the DRS trains and the fighting for the lead of the Grand Prix. All quiet for now, but will be celebrated across the line of lap 26 when one of these drivers becomes the SFR champion. Harry Kane doesn't have to do anything except finish ahead of his teammate because he's got a big gap in the Drivers' Championship, so he doesn't have to worry about that at all. Just got to make sure he doesn't make any mistakes so Berimi can't capitalise. Although Berimi would love to finish the podium, finish the race on a high by finishing on the podium if he can, but there's an obstacle in the way of Romavaj. The driver does have a tendency to pick up podiums quite a lot this season. So the gap is now almost 4 seconds between Hazara and Harry Kane. Romavaj still faces a threat from behind of Berimi though,
He's tried to keep him outside the 1 second range of the DRS. So he's keeping a decent gap over himself and Berimi, trying to put the consistent lap times together. And now we can see that Laser finds himself a Williams all over the back of him. That is Burmeister arriving on the scene. Burmeister has shown some mighty pace here at the British GP. Now we're making our way into Stowe we go, on board with the McLaren driver on the front wing of Laser. He's being currently under pressure from Burmeister right behind him. I don't know if you guys have played the 24 game yet, but if you have, let me know how the handling feels in the comment section, because I actually haven't bought the game just yet, so let me know your opinions on the F1 game. I'm pretty sure most of us will be deleting this game after this race. And now both Hasses are close together too, so ever since Jagamon overtook Langfeld, both Hasses have started to get close together. Jagamon's gained a lot of time on his own teammate as well, so that could be an interesting battle between both Hasses. Do you know how I mentioned in qualifying that they have good qualifying pace, but in the race they tend to slip away due to the incidents or the wrong strategy? Because usually they go for the ultimate strategy, but it doesn't quite work in the end between the both Hasses. As Langfell and Sonic Hawker swap in places there, he goes up into P12, does Langfell. But let's hope for both Hasses' sake they keep it nice and clean in P7 Smoke versus Jagamar. And we make our way now towards Cops. What will both Hasses do? Will Smoke let his teammate go? Are they both close together in real life? Are they communicating with each other? That's the question. Azini was retired from the Grand Prix in the pit lane, so no safety car will be deployed, and that's the first retirement in this race as Sonic Hawk once again exchanges positions with Langfeld. I think I've got a cold developing, you know. I can feel it. And here comes Jagamar then, pulls the left hand side, and he overtakes his teammate for P7. So that was a decent move there for Jagamar, no contact is made, and he can pull away from his teammate. Can he potentially catch Burmeister, who is still on the back of Laser? And there's no signs of the track improving, is there? It's still wet out there, it's still raining on the circuit then, so it doesn't look like it's going to be dry anytime soon around here in Silverstone. Never is in Britain, it's always wet. Although it is dry outside right now, which is quite fortunate because it was raining quite a lot today. Baby is starting to close in on Ramavaj ahead of him. He's 9/8 tenths away, so could that battle resume for P3 for the final spot on the podium? Which one of those two am I going to be interviewing? Is it going to be Berimi or Ramavaj? If the race starts right now, it could be very interesting because it does provide opportunities to overtake in the dry with the helping hand of DRS as well. Quite a race, isn't it? Not much going on in the field. We've got the battle for P3 now. Starts to develop nicely because Berimi all of a sudden has caught up. And it has stopped raining. The rain has stopped. Is it stopped? I can't quite tell. Yeah, it's stopped raining then, so might see some dry tyres being attached to these cars, but which tyre is going to be? Is it the softs or the mediums? I think it could be the soft compound tyres because there's not long to go in this Grand Prix. Only about 10 or 9 laps to go when they pit. But Burmeister is up into P5 and ahead of Laser. I bet Laser is absolutely delighted that the dry period has came because it looks like he's been struggling a lot in the wet conditions. But so unfortunately for him, he's lost a lot of time towards the guys at the front of the field. And I don't think he'll make it back, even with his pace he had in the dry. With only about 10 laps to go in the Grand Prix. It'll be a tall order there for Laser to get back as the rest of the field. So it usually takes about 2 or 3 laps for the rain or for the track to get even drier, and therefore suit the slicks. So I don't expect any pit stops, although Sonic Hawk is in the pit lane right now, but it's a bit too early to go for a pit stop. The battle for P3 could be very interesting with the helping hand of the DRS2, which will influence overtaking, as you can even get closer and closer to the back of your rivals on the Wellington and Hanger Straight. So Ramavaj could find himself in a better bother. He kept Berimi at bay for quite a long time. but bearing will have the DRS on the back of the Alfa Romeo once they go on the dry cold bar tyres. It's a long pit lane as well, so you've got to make the right call at the right time, otherwise you could find yourself losing a lot of time as Laser picks himself up. A 3-second time penalty, and any hope for a podium then has dissipated. So no pit stops yet for the front runners there. They're all stayed out there. I think it's the best thing to do because it's still sweat on the circuit. So 1 or 2 more laps around this Silverstone track. We should see some people pitting into the pit lane soon. The Inters must be dying though, surely. 15 laps for a set of Inters, 16 laps. The Inters must be on a knife edge, surely. We did see an early pit stop from Samid to go on to a brand new set of Inters. I'm not quite sure if he had foot damage or not because I didn't check. But I'm not sure if it was a scheduled stop. But these Inters must be coming to an end. Don't look pretty on those Inters. Remember the Chinese Grand Prix, some people made it 13 laps before they got a puncture. More corners around here, more high speed corners as well. It can be really difficult around here to manage those tyres. And once again then off the back of Luffield we go, with Bearimy still stuck behind Romovaj. And now Jacomo's caught up to Laser, so Jacomo's got some fantastic pace and he's caught up to the back of the car driver. Looks like Laser is really struggling, and here he goes, he puts himself up into P6. The Haas is flying of Jacomo there. Can he keep up? Can he catch Burmeister, who's currently 2 seconds on the road? Now Smoker's overtaking Laser. Laser is losing. Oh, there's a puncher! I talked about the Inters dying, and they have died. It's a front left puncher for Laser there, so those Inters could have made the distance. 16 laps on the set of intermediates is quite a stretch, and unfortunately for Laser, he has picked up a puncher. You don't want to go for a pit stop either because it's a long pit lane loss, and therefore you won't make the deficit when you go out the pit lane. But Dragon there putting pressure on Martin ahead of us. I feel sorry for Laser there. As we make our way now into Vale we go. Dragon's not able to make a move on Martin. But is anybody else going to suffer a puncher? Who has managed their tyres the best? That's the most critical question. I think Hazard is fine because he's got a lot of downforce slapped on that car, because that top speed was about 325 kilometers an hour. Look at that, the car's understeering going into Luffield. But yes, he did add a lot of downforce on the car. As Laser goes onto the medium compound tyres, which is a bit early, but he can't really do anything about it because he had to go for a pit stop on the Inters. So it's a double blow there for Laser as he has to come out on the dry tyres on a wet track. But that's the most important question then. Who has managed their tyres the best to make it towards the slick stint? Adams and Dragonez swapping places for P9 and P10. They're going wheel to wheel out of Luffield. And look at that, look at the launch. But I think Martin's got a puncher. Yes, he has. There's another left foot puncher for Martins. That's the second driver who's got a puncher, because that's a fantastic double overtake there for Dragon. And this is going to be... Oh, Harry Kane's lost a lot of time. Has Harry Kane got a puncher? Yes, he has. Harry Kane, our championship leader, has got a front left puncher. And let's see then, could this change things in the championship? Hazara is in the pit lane, but I think it's the time to pit now. It is still wet on the circuit. Is it going to be a double Red Bull double stat there? It's a double stat there for Red Bull, but it's still wet on the circuit. There are no signs of DRS being enabled just yet, but these guys have got to pit. They can't extend their stint. But bear in mind though, if all these guys pit, they're basically on a level playing field really, because they're all going to struggle on a set of dry tyres really, aren't they? So it's a level playing field between these guys. They had to pit because they're going to get a puncher. But Harry Kane's lost a lot of time towards Hazara, so no chance of him winning the Grand Prix. And here he is, and Hazara feeds out into first place. I've not really seen this scenario before, but Adams there, has he got enough tyre life in that Inter? I think the Inters are still the best tyre for the time being, but his tyres are going to be dead, absolutely dead now. Look at that, he's really going slowly out the corners there. He doesn't have the grip, does Adams. It looks very sketchy driving on board with him. It looks like the tyre could be about to explode anytime soon. So I think the Inters is still the best tyre, but at the same time, these tyres are really old. So I think the soft tyre might just have that advantage. I really hope the Mercedes of Adams don't get a puncher, because that'd be really detrimental. Now DRS is enabled then. That was very lucky for Harry Kane then. Imagine if he got a puncher early doors on the lap. So 7 laps left to go in the Grand Prix. We expect Adams to be back in the pit lane at the end of this lap to make his first pit stop, but majority of drivers on the soft compound tyres as Langford picks himself up a 3-second tyre penalty. That was a very interesting phase of the race, could have spiced things up. But with the pit lane being so long around here, you don't want to make another stop if you can help it, of course, but Laser had to, really. As Adams there goes into the pit lane, then he hasn't lost a lot of time towards Harry Kane either. But in the pit lane he goes, and he's got a front left puncher as Adams, but luckily he's just entered the pit lane. Bearham's out of the race! Bearham's out of the race! He's gone! Our championship contender has crashed at the exit of Stowe, and Yakimal's gone too! What's happened there? Where's Yakimal? Where's he crashed? I can't quite see the Haas, but somewhere he has crashed out of the Grand Prix. Did he crash the same place as Bearhami? I'm not quite sure, But what a dismal end to Bearhami's race. He is out of the race with 6 laps to go. And Adams just came out of the pit lane there. Do you know what? That's worked in the favours of Adams really beautifully there too, because he's rejoined in P5. Do you remember he was in a battle between himself and Martin? So that's worked in the favours of Adams there. A brand new set of tyres, as they all have to adhere to the Delta now as the safety car has came out. So Harry Kane is officially the SFR World Champion, but I'm going to save it to the last lap of the Grand Prix to give him his moment. But Yakimal's rejoined the session then, so that's quite strange. I didn't even know he left. So 6 laps left to go. Harry Kane will be back in contention towards Hazara. Could we see a few last lap showdown between Harry Kane and Hazara like we saw back in Las Vegas and Miami? I'm pretty sure Harry Kane wants to win the championship and wants to win the race at the same time. But there's a massive field spread as well, so it takes a lot of time for these cars to get bunched back together. But I don't Hazara's in the pit lane then to go onto a brand new set of soft compound tyres. Actually might rejoin it first, because the pit lane loss is quite reduced due to thanks to the safety car. What would Harry Kane do? Will he stay out, try and take track position? He will stay out. So Harry Kane is going to stay out and take track position. You probably think that's the best way to go, but he has to slam on the brakes though to abate to his Delta. So Hazara then has decided to go in the pit lane, but this could be nip and tuck though, because Harry Kane has still got to adhere to his Delta. Now he goes full throttle once again. What about Ramavage? Can he get ahead of Harry Kane? Hazara, sorry, I get confused between Harry Kane and Hazara, as he puts himself up in second place now. So a brand new set of soft is attached towards Hazara. That could be very useful towards the end as well, having that better grip towards the end of the Grand Prix. This could be a very interesting race then. But however, do you know what? I think MDJ stays in second place, doesn't he? Yeah, MDJ will finish in second place in the championship. He will not lose third. I don't think MDJ expected that, because Bearham is only about 6 points away from MDJ in the championship, 5 for second as well. So MDJ wins in second place, and I'm pretty sure he'll be delighted with that if he doesn't know it or not. But yeah, Bearham though, let's talk about him. He's had a fantastic season, like the whole season. Ever since he joined Aston Martin in the beginning, then he transferred to Red Bull with a mid-season swap after he joined Red Bull at the Baku Grand Prix. And he's had some great results as well. He's had 2 podiums he's had 2 wins this season and 8 podiums to go with it. 2 fastest laps as well, and 1 penalty point, which isn't bad at all, especially with the 21 race calendar. And I don't think Laser is able to catch Bearham for 3rd place in the championship. He's not too far behind. He's Laser. He's about 70 points behind, so we can't catch Bearham in the championship, no matter where he finishes. But Bearham's first podium came at the Belgian Grand Prix. Finished in the top 10 quite frequently, the top 5 quite consistently too. As Bearham. And do you know what?
This is Berimi's first DNF of the season. Oh, that's a shame. It's a DNF for the last race of the season for Berimi. He's finished every race he's participated in this season except this one. So he's going to be on course to be one of the only drivers, I think, to finish every single Grand Prix without retirement. So that streak will end there for Berimi. He won the Brazilian Grand Prix. He won at Imola. Picked up another podium in China. He didn't have a good race in Miami, one of his worst races of the season. Picked up a podium back in Las Vegas. And unfortunately, he's done a DNF here in Silverstone. So, a champion will be crowned then with 4 laps left to go. But the question is, can he win it? Doesn't matter if he can or not, because he's going to be champion either way. But yeah, what a race, what a season for Harry Kane too. He's had his up and downs as well in this season, like MDJ. He missed a race this season. He had a few spins, especially in Hungary. One of his worst races of the season in Hungary. Baku didn't have a great result either after a bad pit stop, a bad strategy. Texas didn't have a great race either. Netherlands, where he drops the back of the field after contact on the first lap, fell down to last. Japan did not start, but ever since after Japan, he's been on form with quite a few podiums as well in a row and wins as Harry Kane. The Austrian Grand Prix was another race where he fell backwards due to, I think, disconnecting from the session, if I remember correctly. If that was this season or not. It was a long time ago since the first race of the season in Spain. So I think the safety car will be coming in towards the end of the lap as Lord Daddy Boy will catch up to the back of this pack, and 15 drivers then will tussle it out on the soft compound tyres. It's going to be a sprint race all the way to the end. Harry Kane has got a lot of work to do with Hazara being on a brand new set of soft compound tyres. I'm not quite sure if they're brand new or not, depending on how much tyres he saved in qualifying. Could be a scrub set from qualifying, who knows. But anyways, Harry Kane will lead them away, and let's see if he can round the season off in style. Can he win the last race of the season as a champion as well, in first place? He makes his way now towards penultimate corner. He goes. What a restart that was. He put a bit of distance between himself and Romovac as he gets a bad exit there. As Hazara putting pressure on Romovac immediately, going down into turn 1 and turn 2 we go. Harry Kane almost a second ahead. But look at Romovac, gets a bad exit. Here comes Hazara around the outside now. Into turn 3 we go. And he puts himself up to second place immediately then, taking advantage of Romovac's mistake. And Burmeister up into P4. Could this be his first podium of the season? He's had a lot of pace in this race, and now could he put himself in a podium position place? Let's have a look then, with about 3 laps left to go in this race. What a story that would be if the Williams drivers didn't turn up and one of the Williams picks up a podium. That'd be very good news for Williams there. As Burmeister then up to P4, the highest he's been this season. I think the highest has been, it was USA in 6th place as well. So here he is in the Williams in P4. Adams all over the back of him, but Adams got a 3-second time penalty. It's Smoke and Martin about to go wheel to wheel, but the Haas carries more speed around the outside, albeit he goes off the track. And so does McLaren Laser too, goes off the track as they all go flat out on these soft compound tyres. Look at that, you can see that Atlas Copo carrying a lot of speed around the outside. I think that was Drago, sorry, all over the back of Adams. The battle for P3 continues, but Hazara 9/10 away from Harry Kane. Does Harry Kane have the raw pace to try and stay ahead of Hazara, or they'll have DRS on the straight in a few laps time with Hazara? It all depends how much battery Harry Kane's got left. As Harry Kane and Hazara exchange fastest laps of the Grand Prix, the gap is down to half a second between the top two. As we can see, Simon versus Martin then going onto the Hamel straight, going into turn 1 and turn 2 we go. Williams versus Mercedes. As Martin there finds himself with a Williams up the inside, into turn 3 we go. Now turn 4 when Martin has the inside line, but you can see Samid carrying the speed around the outside, but Martin just has the advantage on the inside, and he takes P8 away, or stays in P8 for the time being. But Adams there looking very strong in that other Mercedes in P5s and a new set of soft compound tyres, putting pressure on, and Samid there gets ahead of Martin, but just though, and now he reclaims it. Oh, Martin just taps the back of Simon, he spins him as well. Not quite sure what was going on with Martin there. He just looked like he didn't brake and just took him out of the Grand Prix. That's a shame for Sammy there. But anyways, the battle for the lead is intensifying between Harry Kane and Hazard. These two had a great battle back in Las Vegas, although it came in contact on the last lap. But hopefully they keep it clean here in Silverstone. Hazard does have fresher tyres attached to that McLaren. Will have more speed through the corners, more grip on the exits as well, which he needs. And what can Harry Kane do? Can he respond? Does he have the tools in the car to respond to that? You know, the driver can respond to it, but in terms of the car itself, it might be a bit difficult with older tyres. Burmeister is still putting pressure. And look at that, Hazard is right to the back of Harry Kane. He sets the fastest lap of the Grand Prix as we head on to the penultimate lap of the season, going into turn 1 and turn 2. Hazard will probably wait for the DRS, won't he? Going down into Luffield. But Harry Kane makes a mistake. And Hazard, I'm making mistakes with names now. Hazard and Harry Kane, really confusing with their names. So Harry Kane made a big mistake into turn 3. Hazard hit the back of him, but he has DRS on the straight, and here we go, down to Luffield we go. He's not close enough to make a move. Here's Harry Kane. Don't know why I get these two confused. Completely different names, completely different drivers. I know both of them quite well, so yeah, apologies about that one, but I'm going to call it Matthias versus Hazard. How about that? So here he is then, Hazard putting pressure on Matthias ahead of us as we go into Cop's corner. Doesn't want to make a move there, obviously. Going to have to wait till the Wellington straight. How can Harry Kane respond to this? Well, you know what happened to Hazard on the last lap of the Grand Prix in Vegas? He lost the lead on the final lap of the race after he took P1 away from MDJ on the penultimate lap. They got out dragged onto lap 26 on the Las Vegas strip. But as you can see, Harry Kane wants to win this Grand Prix. He's actually moving left and right. He's actually risking it all as Harry Kane. He wants to win this race, but Hazard has got other ideas. But Ramavaj, can he hold on to a podium? He's got 4 cars right behind him. Burmeister is looking for his first podium of the season. He's looking at his best results so far, and as you can see, Hazard puts in big pressure. He's pushing the Red Bull through the corners. Into turn 1 and turn 2 we go. How can Harry Kane respond? What's he going to do? Not much he can do to defend from this. He's really slowing down Hazard as well. I might bring Ramavaj back into DRS range. Actually 1.1 seconds away is Ramavaj. But on the final lap of the Grand Prix of the season, the track is dry and the battle for P1 is underway between the 2 Norwegian drivers as Harry Kane has the extra straight line speed on the straight. We know Hazard's straight line speed isn't that great due to qualifying. He did have a lot of low wings or high wings on the car. So Harry Kane could have that straight line speed advantage. He needs a good release out of Chapel on the hanger straight to win this race, but as you can see, breaking that slipstream desperately. Look at Ramavaj, he's back in DRS range. This might help him for Burmeister, and Burmeister's under pressure from Adams there in P5. He has got a 3-second advantage, so it won't make much of a difference if he overtakes him or not. But here we are then, going through Magnus and Beckett into Chapel. Harry Kane really puts the throttle down, and let's have a look there to see if Hazard can overtake. All the battery will be deployed as we go onto the hanger straight here. Harry Kane defends the inside line. Hazard goes on the inside now. And side by side we go. Into Stowe we go. And Hazard takes the lead of Harry Kane. He tried his best. But here he is. A late move on the inside. And he almost makes contact into Vale we go. Hazard will come across the line to win. But however, Harry Kane becomes the new SF4 champion this season. He is champion in SF4. What a fantastic season it's been for Harry Kane. Well-deserved championship too for the Norwegian driver. Has been on it since the first race of the season. And he is the new SF4 champion in Red Bull. Red Bull won the Constructors a few races ago. And now they've won the Drivers' Championship with Harry Kane. He should be absolutely delighted with that. He pushed to the limits on the last lap to try and clench first away. But he just couldn't do it, can Harry Kane? But yes, he is the SFR World Champion. What a fantastic season it's been. Should be very happy with himself with that one as well for Harry Kane. My voice is about gone. I'm drinking a Red Bull right now actually. The Red Bull has become a world champion. Oh, however, we move on to the podium interviews to see what Hazard and Harry Kane has to say. I think the best thing to do while commentating is drink water, because I had an energy drink and a lot of too, so I think water is the best solution to anything really. But once again, another podium from Ramavage. That's 8 podiums then. He matches Berimi with the same amount of podiums. So what a fantastic season for Ramavage in P6. Gains another podium on his tally. Burmeister's best result of the season in P4. And Dragon, what a recovery drive. After falling backwards, I think he spun coming out of the final corner in the rain period. He came from last almost to P5. And Smoke has gone undercover in this race too in P6. Fantastic drive from him. Nord has recovered into P8 despite losing an end plate. Lord Danny Boy gets himself inside the top 10 as well. So great drive from him in the Ferrari. Both Ferraris were last at one point, and Lord Danny Boy sneaks inside the top 10. So great job for him. As we move on to the podium sitters then, Ramavage, Harry Kane and Hazara. The top 3 will be in the party shortly if they want to be or not. But we'll start with Harry Kane first. Harry Kane, Matthias, you are the new SFR World Champion, mate. I know you wanted to win as well, because everybody does. But were you a bit frustrated towards the end not getting the win?
No, not really. I had a puncture. The lap I went into soft. Yeah, I thought it was lost. I fortunately had a gap behind me and could pit and still come out second. So yeah, I'm happy with second. Almost first, but yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah, I noticed you lost a lot of time before you made your pit stop. The gap was like 4 seconds, then it went to 9 seconds. So I saw you had a punch on your left front. About 4 or 5 drivers had punches on their left front, but you had to. Luckily, where did your puncher come? Was it in Stowe where your puncher happened?
Yeah, it was out of village, I think. I had like 80% on my tire, so it was quite early puncture, but yeah.
Were you trying to save your tyres in the opening stint on the Grand Prix, trying to make it to the soft stint, because you know that a 2-stop's not going to work around here due to the pit lane loss?
No, to be honest, I was trying to hold with Hazara. I did it for some time, and then when the track's conditions changed to be drier and drier, he just had more pace than me and could push more. So he gapped me with like 4 seconds, and then I had a puncture in the last lap on Inters, and yeah, I thought he won. I got a new chance in the safety car, and yeah, he played it smart and got the win.
Yes, the safety car came out caused by your own teammate. You must be absolutely gutted for your teammate, because you two, in all honesty, have worked beautifully together in harmony to win the constructors. But yeah, it's a shame to see your teammate being out, because it could have been a Red Bull 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship, because Baby was only 6 points behind him. Was 6 points behind him.
Yeah, it was unfortunate. He tried to push to get Ramavage and the last podium spots, and just lost it in the I don't know which corner, the corner before the pits. And yeah, unfortunate, but I think he doesn't regret pushing to try to get the podium.
Yeah, you had 4 wins this season, 13 podiums, and it was a very long season for you, 21 races. The championship going back and forth between you and MDJ. What do you think has been the highlight of your season this season? Where do you think you've really strived the most?
I think I had a good first 3 races, and then I had a bad period where I did a lot of mistakes, either on track or strategy. But I've come strong through the last 7-8 rounds of the season, and I think I have podiums like 5 or 6 times the last races. So yeah, I've been strong in the later part of the season.
Yeah, and as well, what's been your best race this season, do you think?
I don't know. I know I had very good laps in Mexico. I didn't get the win, but I had a 3 second, and we had like I had 2 laps to get the 3 second gap, and I had some of my best laps I did. I think I was like 1/10 from getting a win and driving away from the others. But yeah, I've had some good races, a lot of good overtakes. I've had a lot of fun. But the one thing that I'm not happy with is the way I won the championship with MDJ missing races in the end. But it is what it is, and I'm happy with the championship win.
You take it as you go, really, mate. Not really your control, but yeah, MDJ missing this race. Do you think it could have been really close between you and MDJ in this race if you had raced?
Yeah, thinking back to the last race we had in Silverstone, me, Hazara, and MDJ fought for the win. So I think he would have had good pace, and I think we could have fought for a win with Hazara as well.
How were you headed into this race? Were you calm headed into this race, knowing the championship you could be winning tonight?
Yeah, I'm always. Don't stress about racing. The only thing I know about racing is that it's fun, and yeah, I don't normally stress for races, and yeah, just think of it as fun, and yeah, very very fun to race these fast people in this league.
And I don't know if you played the F124 game already, but if you have, what do you think about it? And if you haven't, what's your expectation on it?
Yeah, I actually have. I was. It was. Yeah. The handling is surprisingly bad, a bit unrealistic, but I think the most difficult is the slow speed corners, because you just lose it if you don't have the right car setup. It's very difficult, but I think we will get used to it. Like in this game. This game wasn't perfect when it came out, and yeah, I think we will have a good season on the 24 game as well.
Well, Harry Kane, thank you very much. You've been absolutely fantastic this season and last season too. You've really stepped up your game with your mighty pace and consistency with podiums in a row. So thank you very much for joining the season, and congratulations, champion, once again. And we'll see if you can defend the championship next season. And yeah, it's been an absolute pleasure to watch you this season.
Yeah, thanks. And it has been a pleasure for you commentating us.
Yeah, thank you very much, Matthias. Really appreciate it. And Hazara, you here?
Yeah, I'm here.
How you doing, mate? You alright?
I'm good. How are you?
Not too bad, a bit tired. I was actually asleep before the race started. Just woke up 10 minutes before it. But yeah, Hazara, what a race. You dominated the first stint in the wet conditions. And how close were you to a puncher towards the end of that first stint in the Inters?
Oh, I was very lucky not to puncture. When I entered the pits, my front left was 90%. So yeah, I was a lucky boy. Yeah, very good. But yeah, I was just lucky. Obviously, it's just random because Harry punctured at 80, and I managed to go to 90 without puncturing. So I was very lucky in that respect. And then that luck caught up to me later when I got the safety car. But luckily, I managed to pass on the last straight on the last lap.
Were you quite nervous about fighting Harry Kane in the last couple of Grand Prix, knowing that championship was on the line for him?
Not really. No, I knew that his rivals were out of play. So yeah, I knew he wouldn't do anything stupid. But yeah, it was just the fact was that he had lower wings. I think he was running a close to dry setup. I was on, I think, 9 or 10 clicks higher on both front and rear, so I was kind of nervous to I wasn't sure I was gonna have the straight line speed. I had a big advantage in the corners, but yeah, you can't really pass in many corners, maybe in the first sector. But yeah, it was fine. He tried to lunge in the last corner, kinda lunge it, but it was too far away. So yeah, happy with my race then.
Yeah, I did notice your straight line speed in qualifying. I picked up on that because your highest you went was 325, and I've seen people do 336, 37, 38. So I was quite surprised to your straight line speed. I knew you were in a high downforce setup. I know you like to run high downforce setups, but Hazard, are high downforce setups? I know I'm probably stating the obvious, but are they better to use? Like generally, do you think you get caught out in the straights if you get someone gets within DRS range?
Yeah, it depends. If you're in the train, probably not so good, but if you're out front, which I usually am in this league, then yeah, you can gap in the first 3 laps before the DRS, and then yeah, I think it's quicker once you have the gap. But if you're in a 1v1 situation on the last lap, in let's say here or last week in Las Vegas, then I think it's not favorable because you'll just get out dragged. But yeah, I'm just comfortable with that setup, and yeah, I don't know. I just went higher because of the rain, obviously, and it did rain for like almost 20 laps, so I think it was the right decision. Just unlucky with the safety car. And yeah, even then it wasn't like I couldn't pass. So yeah, I think you have to be sensible. You can't go too high and you can't go too low. But there were a few times this season where I have gapped quite a lot because I was running higher wings. So yeah, maybe good, but not always.
There's track dependency, and also let's say you're running higher wings. It is very important to break that 1 second range of DRS in the first 3 laps, because if you don't, then you're kind of stuck, aren't you, for the rest of the Grand Prix with guys having low downforce setup, DRS open, and ultimately gaining on you as well and overtake you. But when you're running high wings, when you're stuck in that DRS train, it's quite hard to get past into it. You know, you have the corner and speed advantage, but at the same time you just have no speed on it straight. So how do you work your way through that?
Yeah, that's a good point. I think when you run higher wings, you have to drive well in the corners. Like in Baku, for example, I was running a lot higher wings than everyone else, but when you run higher, then obviously you can build a gap in the middle sector. So let's say you get a 8 or 9 tenth gap, then you're basically safe by the time you get to the straight. And if you are behind someone, you can close up to them. So by the time you get to the straight, you'll be like 2 or 3 tenths behind someone, and then you can pass even though you have higher wings. So yeah, I think unless you're stuck in a massive train, I think slightly higher wings is the way to go.
And how on earth did you manage to pull a 24.8? Can't even get anywhere near the 24s or in the 24s, but yeah, 24.8 is an incredible lap time around here. It beats my charge as well, so tell us how that felt around that.
Yeah, it felt good. I mean, I never tried to drive qualifying with those types of wings before, but obviously it's very pleasant when you have a lot of grip. So I was just comfortable to push, really. And yeah, I was a bit dumb to not go out earlier because I couldn't really finish 3 laps, so I had to abort my second. But yeah, and then I ended up having no new softs for the race, so I had to go to used soft both times. But yeah, it was good in quality. I think 24.8 is pretty good with those wings. My PB is at 24.6, but I'm not gonna do a 24.6 without practicing. So I was happy with the lap.
Yeah, mate, you're absolutely crazy. But at the same time, no, given where you started in the F1 games before, it's quicker than you. And all of a sudden, you've really stepped up your game. You had a big improvement as well. You joined a higher esports team, which I'm really proud of you because I never thought you'd be very high in esports teams. I know you get in esports teams, but at the same time, not of the caliber you're in right now. So yeah, really impressed with the way you have driven this season. And if you were a full-time driver, I dare say you'd be in the championship fight as well, giving these guys a massive headache. So I really hope to see you next season, mate. And also, how do you feel about the F1 game if you played it?
I did not play the version that came out today, but I did play the beta. And also, I want to say thank you for the kind words. I really appreciate it. And yeah, you know we go way back, so looking forward to race you in the future if I will race. But yeah, I tried the beta and it was pretty horrendous, like most people would agree with. And yeah, I don't like to be negative about the game or whatever, but yeah, it wasn't enjoyable. So yeah, but obviously it's early days. We'll see what they improve. I heard there's a patch coming in some weeks or months time, so just hoping that will be good. And then yeah, I probably won't play the game in the first 2 or 3 weeks, so maybe I'll hop on later when the season starts. But yeah, let's see what they do.
Well, thank you very much, Azara. It's been a pleasure to have you this year. It's nice to commentate over you after all these years and hopefully race with you sometime as well. But we're running off there. Thank you, Hazara. Well done on P1 and Harry Kane. Well done on P2 and also the championship as well. So yeah, what that season is done and dusted. Then season 15, round 21, the British GP is over. We'll see you all next season, SFR. Make sure you stay tuned in and sign up as well if you want to race. Link is in the description on the YouTube channel. And we'll see you all on the F124 game next season, as the rest of us will delete the 23 game after the stream right now.